Buying a home is one of the most rewarding purchases and greatest investments you'll ever make. But there are a few key steps that need to be taken before you can get the keys to your new home. From making an offer all the way to the closing table, listen along as we break down the home buying process. After this video, you will feel way more confident about your journey ahead. The first order of business in buying a home is making an offer. A real estate agent can help you make a calculated offer that is in line with the market and help negotiate with the seller and their real estate agent to help you get the best deal. Your real estate agent will strategize with you about the best approach with your offer. This includes the price you're willing to pay, what contingencies you want, if any, and how much earnest money you plan to deposit. A common misconception in the real estate industry is that the listing price is the price a buyer has to pay. Rather, the listing price is the dollar amount that the seller likely hopes to receive for their property and is completely negotiable. In order to come up with a listing price, sellers consult with their listing agent and compare their home to similar homes in their market that have already sold. As a buyer, you can also use these factors to determine what you are willing to pay. It's important to note that the seller may review your offer and come back with a counteroffer or deny your offer entirely, so you'll want to ensure what you offer is fair and competitive. Your offer should also include stipulations you need to feel protected. Some examples of common stipulations your offer can add include an inspection contingency, which includes a home inspection and an appraisal, title contingency, used to verify there are no liens on the title, and finally, loan contingencies. Each of these contingencies are added to your offer and inevitably to the purchase contract to allow you the opportunity to cancel the home purchase should there be any issues with the home, your loan, or the title of the home that you are not comfortable with. You'll want to be certain that everything is going well with the home, title, and financing before you release these contingencies. Your realtor and lender will help you understand when it's a good time to release these contingencies. Another thing to consider when drafting up your offer is earnest money, also known as good faith money or a good faith deposit. So what exactly is earnest money? Earnest money is essentially a deposit into a joint bank account between you and the seller to show good faith that you are serious about buying this home. This is not at all required, but could help make your offer even more attractive. Typically, earnest money is between 1% to 5% of the total home price. Once your offer is accepted, this money will be allocated towards any required closing costs or down payment. After an offer has been accepted, either during the first go-around or after some back-and-forth negotiations, you should be ready to proceed with the next part of the home buying journey known as escrow. Escrow is a general industry term that means that a tentative agreement between buyer and seller has been finalized, and because of that, an escrow account is opened. An escrow account is that joint bank account I mentioned earlier that is opened between a buyer and seller where all fees, loans, and monies will pass through during the escrow timeline. Now that your offer has been accepted, the race is on. Typically, escrow lasts for around 30 to 45 days, but ultimately is decided by the timeline outlined in the purchase contract. As soon as your offer is accepted, you should alert your loan team, who will submit your file to processing. Processing is a milestone of your loan getting approved and is when your loan team recollects and verifies all the necessary documents needed for underwriting. Your asset, income, and employment documents all go through a preliminary review during processing. Your lender will also order a variety of services needed to learn more about the home and close on the loan, including ordering the appraisal. The next step, after a processor does their preliminary evaluation, is to underwrite the loan. Underwriting is the process through which a lender or bank reviews the financial risk of a loan. Underwriters are tasked with assessing the degree of risk that a lender or bank will face with the loan and is used to set the terms. The risks associated with your particular situation generally determine your interest rate, length of mortgage available, and which monthly expenses are included with your loan. In order for underwriters to verify that the borrower is able to and will likely make payments, they will need to look at their credit history, employment records, financial records, and value of any collateral offered. When it's time to go to the underwriting phase, your lender will need very specific documents. These include a credit report to ensure you have sufficient credit worthiness and an employment verification, which can include a letter from your employer, W-2s, pay stubs, and possibly your employment agreement. Your assets will also be taken into consideration, so you'll need to provide your most recent bank statements as well as retirement statements if applicable. And lastly, you'll need to prove your eligibility for a VA loan. This can be satisfied by obtaining a copy of your certificate of eligibility. We talk about how to do just that in a previous video titled Qualifying for a VA Loan. While your loan team and the underwriter are busy working to approve your loan, you and your realtor partner will also be busy, verifying the home is up to your and the VA standards. In order to do this, you'll need to coordinate with a home inspector to come and look closely at every aspect of the home, from the roof to the foundation, to determine if there are any health, safety, or major technical issues with the property. Around the same time as the home inspection, your agent will want to connect with the seller's agent to allow an appraiser access to the home. The appraiser's job is to determine the fair market value of your future home, as well as ensure that it is up to par with the VA's minimum property requirements. Depending on where you live, you may also need a pest or termite inspection. These are generally required in locations where termites or other pest infections are frequent and are used to make sure that there is no active infestation or other issues that could affect the safety of the house. After you've had an offer accepted, gone through the full approval process, and all inspections are ready to go, your lender will clear you for closing. The closing process is pretty straightforward, and when you finish signing the final loan documents, you'll receive the keys to your new home. Closing typically happens 4 to 6 weeks after you initially start the loan process. If you're purchasing a home, closing is the final day in the process where everyone meets to sign documents and make the transaction official. It's important to note that sometimes closing is also referred to as settlement. If you're refinancing a home, there are less people involved in the closing process, but it is still your final step in completing the loan. Since closing is the final step in the process, most of the paperwork and required documents will already be submitted. Although there may be a few things your lender will inform you ahead of time to bring, like your driver's license, your checkbook, and any paperwork you signed throughout the process. Once you finish signing all of the closing documents, your work is done. However, your lender and title company will be working together to get your loan funded and recorded with your local county recorder's office. Once your final loan documents have been signed, the loan has funded, and the deed has been recorded with the county, the home is yours. Congratulations, you are now a homeowner. That concludes this video. If you have any more questions about buying a house, please read the content below this video or get in touch with our team by clicking the Apply Now button in the top right-hand corner of the screen.